Broadcasting from Cincinnati,
you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib, and we got a great show for you today. If you want to call and ask questions, 323-870-3857. And let's go ahead and get started here. Showtime, pay-per-view. Beeb, so far, the biggest fight, name-wise, I think the biggest fight this year, Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez for the WBC Super Middleweight Interim title. I don't know. David Benavidez wins a unanimous decision over Caleb Plant by the scores of 115, 113, 116, 112, 117, 111. I had the fight scored 116, 112. B, how did you have it?
117, 111.
Yeah, so we pretty much saw it just like that. The fight, I tell you what, B, you and I look like geniuses because the fight went exactly like we said it was going to go. The fight was close after 6 rounds, and then Benavidez started to take control in the middle and later rounds. The body shots were there for him all night. That's how he did a lot of his damage and just slowed Plant down. Plant started early, just using his jab, boxing really effectively, keeping his distance. Every time Benavidez would get close, Plant would grab him, tie him up. Now, he did this a number of times and received absolutely no warning from Kenny Bayless. You think he gets something for holding or anything like that? Nope, never. It was fine. Kenny Bayless did a bad job in this one, if you want my honest opinion. Was threatening to take points away from Plant at one time, and it was just like, come on, man. The one adjustment, I think that really turned the tide of this fight, because if you watched it early on, Benavidez didn't really know what to do when he was getting held. He really couldn't do much. And then later on, you saw him as soon as he got in close, and as soon as he started to hold, he came over the top with that clubbing right hand. It was a club right hand right over the top every single time they were in a clinch. And that did a lot of damage because that shot was hitting, and that did a lot of damage. He would also go for the body in that clinch and everything like that. The fight, I tell you what, I am shocked. That fight should have been stopped in the 10th or 11th round. In fact, I'm shocked that it wasn't, man. Plant did not need to take that many shots in the 10th and 11th. He really didn't. Shocked that the referee didn't stop it. I'm shocked that his corner didn't stop it. I guess you want to finish the fight, wonderful, but you weren't winning the fight. You weren't gonna win the fight. You know, what's the point of that? Overall, it was a great win for Benavidez. Definitely the biggest win of his career. Now, before we talk about what's next for Benavidez, Beeb, how did you see that fight?
Well, I thought Benavidez did okay in the first half of the fight, but you could argue that Plant had the edge. After 6, I had it even in rounds. I gave Benavidez the 3rd and 4th round, and I also gave him the 6th, and I gave him the 6th on through number 12. Now, you mentioned about the adjustment that Benavidez made, but here's the problem I have. Now, I'm going to be consistent with the holding because everyone hates holding. And I've always said, well, it's a part of boxing. If someone holds, the fighter needs to be able to figure out a way to deal with the holding. And I thought Benavidez was figuring out the holding, but every time he would try to, nudge Plant, create a little bit of space. Anytime he breathed on Plant, when Plant grabbed him anytime he tried to wiggle out of the clinch or fight his way out of the clinch, Kenny Bayless would scream at him like he couldn't even touch Plant. And this is the same referee that would allow Mayweather to stick his forearm in people's throats and not say a goddamn thing, right? So Benavidez did have to fight Caleb Plant and the ref at the same time here because, again, everything Benavidez did, he was being admonished by the referee, and it was horrible. It was horrible. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's video footage out there of Kenny Bayless going to the MGM Grand betting window and placing a bet on this fight to go the distance because he did everything fucking possible to ensure that this fight went the distance, because every time Plant was in trouble, he found a way to stop the action. There was the cut on Plant's head, and it wasn't even big at the time, and he stops it right when Benavidez had momentum. This was gross. This was disgusting. And and when Plant was holding, right, he was grabbing Benavidez and trying to like hold himself up from not going down. That's how bad this was. I mean, he was really hurting there. You heard Breadman say, I think it was in between the 10th and 11th round, or it could have been in between the 11th and 12th. I think he said it both times, that you're not looking good in here. If you keep getting hit like that, I'm going to stop it. And this was kind of like a similar situation that I think that Benavidez was in when he fought Caron Davis, who was another Breadman Edwards fighter. He pulled Caron Davis out of that fight. But in this situation, I think the circumstances were a little different because of the bad blood. I think he didn't want to give Benavidez that one up on Plant, where he could say, I not only beat you, I stopped you. So he tried to save face a little bit for Plant and enable Plant to say, at least I fought hard and I went the distance. I showed a lot of grit, determination, and heart. He didn't want to give Benavidez the satisfaction of not only just winning the fight, but being able to say that I stopped you like I said I was going to stop you. So he wanted to give Plant, I think, that moral victory. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. He said, he goes, I want to see you go the distance. He said that. He said that. Like, so why would he say, I want to see you go the distance?
That's a weird thing to say.
He did say that.
Yeah, no, I believe you. If you said it, I believe you.
Yeah, he did say that. He goes, I want to see you go the distance here, but I don't want to see you take unnecessary punishment. I mean, if you keep getting hit like that, I'm gonna have to stop it.
When was the last time I don't remember seeing Kenny Bayless ref anytime recently. When was the last time?
He's been out of the loop for a long time.
That's what I thought. Why was he the ref?
Mayweather was in the stands. They could have been in cahoots. They both could have bet the fight to go the distance. Who knows, man? This could have been a scam between the both of them. I don't know,
honestly,
man.
Though, like, when was the last time you saw Kenny Bayless? You know what I mean? In a big fight. Why was he here?
I don't know. He's been out of the loop for a while.
Aaron Daly, thank you so much. That's who it was, Beeb. As promised, the judges robbed Plant. Now I have to pay. Should have been stopped on cuts in the 6th.
There was like a couple people that bet. There was a couple people that bet Benavidez to win by decision, and that was a plus 400. Right? Shout out to Joe Calix, because he was saying that he thought that the fight would go the distance. But even if you made that play,
shouldn't have went the distance, man.
Even if you made that,
shouldn't have went the distance.
Yeah, even if you made that play in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and even 12th, you were sweating. You were sweating that bet.
Yeah,
you couldn't have felt comfortable making that bet after seeing the 9th, 10th, and 11th round. I don't like him that much, but I give him credit. He is the best of his era. He's a great fighter, but I don't like him.
He's the best of his era. He's not the best of all time, and he's a real trash human being.
Yeah, I don't like him personally.
Aside from
but
that,
yeah, so then the narrative is, oh well, Canelo stopped him. Benavidez couldn't stop him. How can you stop him if the ref doesn't let you fight on the inside? The ref did not let Benavidez work the way he wanted to on the inside. And then here's the thing, you got to give Benavidez credit, because he did what he could. Like you said, he had the free hand, and he shortened it and just looped it around the guard, and he kind of threw it from a blind spot so Plant couldn't even see it, right? But even then, he was not allowed to continue his momentum after hurting Plant several times. I'm gonna say this, and this is gonna be controversial, and people are gonna jump on me. That I had that fight with Canelo and Plant even up until the time of the stoppage. Some people even had Plant up. It was a close fight, right? And Plant won.
Yeah.
Plant was winning rounds later in that fight. Like, he won the 9th. You could argue he won the 8th. You can even argue he won the 7th in that. Like, you can argue Plant won 7, 8, 9 in that fight, or you could say at the very least he won 9. Some people even gave him 8 and 9. He was still in the fight going into that 10th round. But he took most of the damage in that fight in that 11th round. Canelo hit him with one big shot, and he put the lights out, and Plant got up, and then he just rained punches down on him, and that fight was stopped in the 11th. But if you could say, like, he didn't take a ton of damage in that fight up until only that one round. That's where he took the damage. From rounds 6 through 12 in this fight, he was getting a sustained beating, right? This wasn't just a minute and a half of hell. This was several minutes of hell, right? This was 18 minutes of straight hell, right? 21 minutes of straight hell of a sustained beating. This is the type of fight that takes years off your career. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Bredman did him any justice by keeping him in there. He should have pulled him out of there after the 10th.
Absolutely.
This is going to take years off his career. I don't think he's ever going to be the same.
You know what's interesting? Let me tell you this. This is interesting to me anyway. Not to be to you. Last night, after the 8th round, I had the fight even. And then 9, 10, 11, and 12, I gave to Benavidez. Okay? Canelo versus Plant. After 8 rounds, I had the fight dead even. 9, 10, subsequently is when he got knocked out in the 11th, I believe. That's when Canelo took over. He fades late in fights. I don't know that, I don't know that one is better than the other as far as who beat who better. I mean, you could say Canelo because he knocked him out. Here, Benavidez should have knocked him out. I was surprised. I was surprised that Benavidez made the right adjustments in there because Plant came out with a really good game plan, and I thought he was winning those early exchanges. But Benavidez did a really good job. Benavidez did a really good job on, like I said, punching over the top, when they get into clinches, making those adjustments, moving your feet in the right direction, Go ahead.
Yeah. We talked last week about skill, and skill is subjective and it's measured in many different ways. And the way I look at skill and I assess skill, I give people credit that can do multiple things well. I'd rather see the guy that could do multiple things well as opposed to the guy that can do 1 or 2 things well. And I said this on the roundtable Thursday, and I'll repeat this. You could argue that Plant has an advantage when there's distance and when there's space. I think it's a slight advantage. I don't think it's significant, but I would say he's the better outboxer, right? But where the difference changes significantly is when they're up close. I think Benavidez is substantially a better inside fighter, even a better mid-range fighter than Plant. Plant is an outboxer. He's a stick and move guy. Now, when you look at the statistics here, and I know the punch stats are not the be-all, end-all, but I think there's a certain instances where you look at the punch stats and you can say, yeah, that was an accurate description of the fight. And I would think that's applicable here. And even, before, shout out to Lee Groves because he actually works for Punch Stat and he's been on the roundtable a few times. He's been on this show. And I think the major improvement, I think the major improvement that the Punch Stat guys have now is Lee told me they don't fly us out to the fights anymore. So we're watching the fights on a television screen. So we have better views. It's easier for us to count the punches now. So I do think, again, they're not the be-all, end-all, but I do think they're more accurate. Let's run the numbers. David Benavidez outperformed Caleb Plant in every statistical category, right? He landed 38% of his punches to Benavidez. He landed 38% of his punches, and Plant only landed 15% of his. He landed more jabs than Plant. This was the guy who supposedly had the better jab. He landed significantly more jabs than Caleb Plant, right? Plant only landed 15% of his punches, where he landed like 25% of his punches or 23% of his punches against Canelo. Like, Benavidez, right, shut him down from rounds 6 through 12. Shut him down completely. Like, in what world does Plant only land 15% of his punches? In what world would you ever think that he would be out jabbed by Benavidez? So it goes back to my point. Is Plant really the more skilled boxer? Can he do as many things as Benavidez can do? Can he fight on the inside? Can he shorten up his shots? Can he catch shots while moving forward, slip shots while moving forward? Because his defense is his legs, right? He's not a guy that has great head movement, great upper body movement, dip and duck and slip and slide. His defense is solely his legs, where Benavidez is great at catching, parrying. He showed phenomenal head movement. Like, I think Benavidez showed you the complete package last night. And here's the thing. I don't even think he's reached his full potential. This guy is still 25 years old. He can get better. Now he's got Memo Heredia in there. He's got a strength and conditioning coach. He can pull it all together, man. He can pull it all together, right? Canelo, I think Canelo has peaked. I don't think he has anywhere to go but down. That doesn't mean he's still not formidable where he's at right now. That doesn't mean he's still not going to be favored against Benavidez. That doesn't mean that, that would still be David Benavidez's toughest fight, far and away. And that still doesn't mean that Canelo won't win the fight.
Wasn't Memo working with Victor Conte and stuff like that? Isn't that the same dude?
No, they've always been at odds, but he's been compared to Victor Conte,
yeah, he's okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, but he's been linked to kind of like PED usage. Like, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the IV was in David Benavidez the morning of the fight.
It would not surprise me either. Yeah,
it is what it is. But yeah, I just think that Benavidez is live against Canelo.
For sure.
I would actually pick him against Canelo.
I don't know if I'd pick him against Canelo. It's a good fight. Yeah. It's a close fight, but listen, he's definitely got a shot to win that. I wouldn't put it, I wouldn't put a whole lot of money on the fight, put it that way.
I think he matches up better against Canelo than he does against Plant. And that sounds crazy. And I'll tell you why, though. You got a guy who doesn't come at you with a lot of volume. You got a guy who doesn't throw a ton of jabs. You got a guy who doesn't move a lot. That's kind of what David Benavidez likes. In that fight, he will pick up the pace with the jab. He will throw a ton of jabs. He will throw more than 560 punches. This is a fight where he'll have to utilize his volume. And Canelo has problems with the jab. I think the jab would be working overtime for Benavidez. Yeah. I could see him outworking Canelo. Could see it.
Yeah, I could too. For sure. For sure. What's next? Let's talk about Caleb Plant real quick. What's next for him? I mean, he's had two big fights. He's come up short in both fights.
I think maybe a fight against Charlo at 168, maybe a fight against Andre at 168. I wouldn't be surprised if Benavidez fights David Morrell next. He threw that name out there. He could get a WBA interim belt. And when you start knocking off these guys, right? Yeah. Like you start fighting this guy like David Morrell, who's ranked pretty high in the sanctioning bodies as well himself, right? He picks up a regular belt, right? That gets him closer to a Canelo fight. I mean, he's already the mandatory, right? But I think that Plant could probably fight an Andre or a Charlo, and I would say Benavidez will probably fight a David Morrell next, because he actually mentioned that name during the post-fight press conference. So that's definitely a good matchup.
I don't see him fighting Canelo next. I don't know that Canelo's over there going to fight John Ryder in May.
Then what's after that? Then they're talking about
Bivol, right?
Bivol after that. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Terrible matchup for him. Terrible matchup.
And then we're gonna continue to hear, well, Canelo can do what he wants. What has Benavidez done to deserve this? So what have all these other guys have done? What have all these other guys
Ryder done to be in this position?
Yeah, I mean, like,
what has John Ryder really done to be in this position? Though?
No disrespect to John Ryder, but again, he's lost all his big fights, and I thought he lost the Jacobs fight. I thought he got a generous decision. Again, that's just my opinion. I think stylistically, it's a horrible matchup for him fighting Canelo. I don't think he lasts the distance. So again, like all these other guys should fight each other. Okay, but again, look at all the guys that Canelo fought and is fighting, and ask yourselves, what have they done to deserve where they're at? What does this fight at 175 even mean? Even if he were to beat Bivol, which is a big if, right?
Huge.
Even if he beat him, do you think he's going to stay up at 175 and defend those titles? So
Can't.
basically, you're putting two divisions on hold here because Bivol should be fighting Better Beef, right? And Canelo should be fighting Benavidez. So I don't know, man. It's just my opinion. I think I put a poll in my chat on the show I did earlier today, and 70 to 75% of the people would rather see him fight Benavidez than see him fight Bivol.
It makes no sense. It
just
makes
no sense.
No sense.
It makes no sense, man.
Yeah, and he's right. I hate the "what has anyone done to deserve a shot" arguments. Benavidez is mandatory. That's it. Bottom line, that's his mandatory.
Canelo's got all 4 belts. He could use that against anybody. Like, what do they like? So every time Canelo has to, so anytime you want to fight Canelo, you got to go through a round robin series. You got to do a Super 6 tournament.
Right.
I mean, what the fuck, man? It's getting ridiculous now, man. I mean, Canelo can do what he wants. He can, right? He can pretty much tell the sanctioning bodies what he wants, and they're going to kind of kowtow to him. I get it. He's earned his spot. Whatever. I get it. Tony, shout out to Tony P, the almighty Tony P in the chat. We're going to use the mandatory argument. Okay, let's do that. We'll revisit what I said in the show. Golovkin was Canelo's mandatory after he beat Cotto. What did he do? He vacated the title. What about when Derevyanchenko was Canelo's mandatory at middleweight at IBF? What did he do? He vacated the title. What about when Canelo was Andre's mandatory for the WBO title at middleweight? What did he do? He vacated the title, right? So Canelo's no stranger to shucking off mandatories and vacating titles. But all of a sudden now, he's got to fight his mandatories. Yeah, of course everybody wants to fight Canelo. Why shouldn't they? He's got all the titles.
He's the money man.
He's got all the titles.
Man. You're going to make
he's got all the titles.
More money than you've ever made. So of course they want to fight Canelo.
So again, Canelo has vacated titles before in the past, right? So don't tell me, he has to fight his mandatories. Canelo
he doesn't have to fight for a belt. He's already like, there's no urgency for him to keep all those titles unified. He doesn't have to. All right, let's go ahead and go to the phones. Let's bring Robert on 530. You're live.
Robert, let me ask you a quick question. The scorecards were all over the place.
Joe. Hello, Eric.
Hey, how's it going?
Let me ask you a quick question. The scorecards were all over the place for this fight with Plant and Benavidez last night. I'm just curious. How did Mrs. Herrick have it?
She didn't watch it, but I sure did. And I was thoroughly disgusted with Kenny Bayless.
Wow.
I mean,
got a family.
I don't care if you got a family. That was a disgraceful job by a referee that knows better.
That's interesting. And when I interviewed him, he had nothing but nice things to say about you, Robert. That's very nice.
I wish to God they had a different referee in there, because if they had a different referee in there, this fight would not have went the distance. David Benavidez would have knocked Caleb Plant out. Period.
Robbie, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I bet this fight to end by stoppage. I bet David Benavidez to win this fight by stoppage. I had several prop bets on this. Do I have grounds to sue Kenny Bayless because of what he did last night? Do I have grounds for that? Would I be out of line?
Yes.
Dropping Kenny Bayless a phone call saying, "Hey man, you owe me money," after what Kenny Bayless did last night? Would I be out of line?
No,
I'm asking. Would I be out of line?
A lot of people would be giving him phone calls, because I bet you a lot of people.
He cost me money last night
for the late stoppage. I told you last week I thought it would be a late stoppage, and it should have been a late stoppage. And Stephen Breadman Edwards, wonderful trainer, but he should have pulled him out after the 10th round. Case closed, fight over.
Wow.
Come on.
Rough.
No, I was screaming literally at the TV at Bayless, and Jesus Christ, it was awful.
Hey, Robert.
And my scorecard, I agreed with Eric, 116 to 112.
Yeah, so, Robert, let me ask you a question, because you kind of keep track of this stuff way better than I do, in the sense that what was the last fight Kenny Bayless refereed? Last big fight?
Eric, you brought that up, and I haven't seen Kenny Bayless
I was
referee a
shocked.
fight in at least.
Yeah,
in
I
at
was
least
shocked to
6
see him in
months.
there. Why would
Yeah.
he? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Now, they gave Caleb Plant Kenny Bayless. They gave him that gigantic ring to run around in. They gave him every possible advantage, and he couldn't do it.
That's another thing we need to bring up. You know, Floyd Mayweather had tons of fights in Las Vegas. You know, Las Vegas was basically his house. But you never seen Floyd Mayweather go to the Nevada State Athletic Commission and say, 20-foot ring, not big enough. Can we have it, 22, 23 feet? Where does Caleb Plant? I mean, he doesn't have a big enough name in the sport. Where does he get off going to the Nevada State Athletic Commission and saying, your ring isn't big enough. I'd like to have it bigger. And why did they give it to him, for God's sake?
Well, they agreed on it. Everybody agreed on it. You know?
I know. I could not believe that. No, everybody that bet the knockout should be pissed off at Kenny Bayless because David Benavidez.
What about Breadman Edwards too? I mean, listen. The bottom line is he didn't knock him out. I mean,
I'm gonna make a very bold statement here. I think Kenny Bayless, Breadman Edwards, and Floyd was in the crowd. They may have all been in cahoots. They may have all bet this fight to go the distance.
Matter with you.
I'm putting that out there, man.
You're not putting that out there. Just take it back.
And by the way,
for legal reasons, I will take it back for legal reasons. For legal reasons, I don't want this organization to be sued for defamation. We've already had multiple lawsuits because of Robbie's, ridiculous statements over the years. Go ahead, Robbie. Sorry, Robbie. I'm sorry.
With Canelo, he better not step in the ring with Dimitri Bivol again, because that would be a major mistake. And you know what? If I'm Dimitri Bivol, you know what I say to Canelo? Okay, you want your rematch? Guess what? I'm going to drop down to 168 and take all your titles. Then what are you going to do about that? If I'm Bivol, that's exactly what I do.
I got a feeling that fight's going to be at 168. I just got.
I believe it too.
I got a feeling.
I believe that too. Yeah,
that's what Eddie Hearn wants.
Absolutely, that fight's going to be at.
He's been floating that out there.
And you know
what? Been floating that out there.
And you know what? And you know what? If Bivol goes down to 168 and beats him again, boy, oh boy, that's going to make boxing really interesting because can you see a fight with Dimitri Bivol and somebody like David Benavidez?
Robbie, let me say this: if Bivol does do that, I think he writes his ticket into the Hall of Fame right after doing that.
Oh, absolutely he does, because boxing has this ridiculous thing in place where two Russians are not supposed to be able to fight one another. So I don't know if he'll ever get Beterbiev in the ring with him, as long as the war is going on with Ukraine. So if I'm Dimitri Bivol, you may not be able to get the fight with Beterbiev. I drop down to 168. I take all of Canelo's titles, and I start campaigning at 168 as long as I can make the weight and make good fights.
Just that easy. Just going to go down. I'm going to drop a few pounds, go down and take over 168.
I think he could do it.
I think it's possible. Whether he does it or not, whether the belts are on the line or not, those are all different things.
Because realistically, as long as boxing has this ridiculous thing in place, I don't know if they're going to be allowed to fight one another, the two light heavyweights.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue, Robbie. Hopefully that they're not going to be strict on that, as time goes on. Maybe they'll loosen that up a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, it is.
But, my point is, Joe, if I'm Bivol, I say, okay, you want your rematch? Fine. I'm going down to 168, and I'm going to take all your titles.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
That's how I would handle it.
All right, Robert. Yeah. We're going to get rolling. Thanks for your input as always, and we're going to leave you on hold. 774, you're live.
Hey, yo, what's happening, people?
Georgie.
What are you calling? What are you calling from a Jamaica Plain area code now? What are you in Jamaica Plain now?
What's the matter with you?
Baby, I'm incognito.
Oh, yeah,
You're
you're in Jamaica playing. You're at Laurel Hills right now. You're at Laurel Hills. Go ahead.
Just don't blow my spot. Listen, man. Oh, first of all, thank you for paying the pie bet, B. I waited a long time.
You know I'm a man of
Your
honor.
word. Give me
You
congratulations.
know I'm a man of honor. I've always been a man of honor.
Thank you very much, baby. I just
You're
gotta.
welcome.
You remember that when we make
You're
that bet, we also make the bet about you picking Ryan and I was picking Tank, right?
We'll see. We'll kind of talk about that later. Ryan's not the A side, so I don't want to get I don't want to get robbed on the cards. I want to give myself an out if I get robbed on the cards. So we'll talk about that
Get
one later.
robbed on the cards.
Listen, I let you out of the bet, baby. If you don't want to pick up Brian, that's fine, baby, because I've been paying you like for fucking 2 years in the row and you haven't paid me in a minute.
I mean, I'll be putting a lot of money on Ryan. I'm
leave.
going to be putting a lot of money on Ryan. So imagine losing money and having to take a pie in the face. I don't know if I can endure that all in one day. That's a lot.
Hey, baby, I'm a consider banning you out of the bed. That's okay. We'll move on. But I just want to listen. You guys always call me negative and shit, but I just don't understand. Listen, guys, I don't understand what is this refusal that you guys to accept that the sport that we love is a mafia-driven, corrupt piece of shit. I don't understand why you guys keep going with this. Kenny Bailey, the referee, Kenny Bailey. Motherfuckers, when the fuck is it that the whole thing comes from the top? Years on this shit, singling out the pawn on the fucking chessboard. Never going for the king, never going for the queen, never calling this fucking mafia what the fuck it is. Why? Explain to me why.
I don't know.
Because I'm an optimist, Georgie. I live in a utopian world sometimes, Georgie. What do you want me to say?
It's rotted, baby. It's rotted. It's rotted. We cannot keep going with the same Kenny Bailey's referee bullshit year after year after year after year. Going in circles. Go to the top. You know this shit coming from the top. And this demonizing the little fucking low man on the fucking bottom of the pool. That's the motherfucker we're going to go after it. And the cycle repeat itself with another Kenny Bailey. Humanity, can you be saved from yourself? From this stupidity attitude like the shit don't come from the top. It's mind-boggling at this point. And every channel, it's not you guys alone. Just because you really love the sport, baby, you got to put it on like it is. The whole thing is fucking corrupt. All this shit comes from the top. You think Kenny Bailey's going to go from himself to do all this bullshit?
Who's exactly at the top? Who's actually at the top?
Who's the ops? Who's the ops? Who's the ops? Who are these ops, Georgie? Who are these ops? Whoa!
The WBC mafia. Oh my God!
Whoa!
The same people that you glorify and put in a pedestal. The same motherfucker when you talk about WBC is the most glamorous fucking belt, the most prestige belt. Man, that sounds so stupid, guys. I love you, baby, but you guys got to change. We're 2023. Let's stop demonizing these referees and this bullshit and call these cocksuckers from the top. Save yourself.
Who's at the top?
Save the sport.
Still don't know who's at the top.
I already told you who's at the top. Promotion, the so-called fucking the bodies, nigga. The regulatory bodies, WBC, whatever the fuck is involved.
Well, that clears it up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it really clears it up from there.
We'll put out some investigative reporters right on that right away. Lois, get the press on that tomorrow morning.
Just saying it help. Just saying the truth help, baby. All this fucking going after the little guy, that's pointless, futile, no progress. Starting there, like I don't understand it.
Oh, Lord.
And this is every fucking time shit happens. Never the sport is fucked up in bullshit. Never like one individual that you want to go afterwards. It's like beyond, you guys can't be saved at this point, bro. Listen, I love you guys. Eric, what's up with you? You want to make your fucking
what's up?
Mexican heritage proud? You want to pick up fucking Ryan or what you doing?
No, I'm picking Tank. I'll have to see it at the weigh-in and everything like that.
Man.
I'll have wait till I usually wait till like the weigh-in to get official, but as of right now, I think Tank. I like Tank.
I like Ryan to win the fight, but I got
think
I'm gonna have a lot of money on Ryan.
Yeah, I think Ryan's gonna get caught with something. I really do.
Yeah.
But he's fast too, man. He's fast too.
He's big. He's going to be gigantic the night of the fight. He's probably going to weigh 160 the night of the fight. We'll see.
Listen, guys, before my little minute is over, I want to talk about the Colbert fight. Man, listen, we got it like Teofimo did, that they know they fucking walk out of there with a robbery. We got to boycott these people. we got to make a statement. We cannot let these robberies like, okay, whatever you think you want, or you try to fool us, whatever the fuck you think you got going on, we ain't watching your fight. Whatever undercard they put you on, we ain't paying for that. We have to send in a signal. Clear, crystal clear. Just like that. We cannot support boycott, whatever the fuck these motherfuckers on. Listen, they're going to serve Theo to fucking, with the British dude. Harrison. Who's Theo gonna fight next?
Who?
Theo?
Who Teofimo Lopez is fighting next?
Oh, Josh Taylor.
Josh Taylor.
We gotta boycott that shit. Boycott that shit.
I'm not boycotting anything, man. I'm
crazy. I'm watching that fight.
I'm watching all these fights.
I'm definitely watching them out.
I got nothing else.
That's a good fight
right there. If these people keep making money after a robbery that they don't supposed to be there. They don't supposed to be there. Theo he lost. And he don't supposed to be there. And as a fan, you are gonna go and watch the fight so these people can make money or get away with another one. And you just happy with it. Why humanity?
I mean,
beyond understanding, niggas can be safe. I love you guys. I gotta go. Everybody out there, support the channel, donate. I'm out.
Georgie, he's on that Pruno again, boy. Riker's got him messed up. Riker's got him messed up.
It's out of control.
There you go. There you go. All right. All right. What is this? Eric? No way. Eric's Mexican. Eric looks as if he could be Native American.
Whoa.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny though? I actually did one of those 23andMe. The 23andMe things, that DNA thing where you like spit in that cup and then they like tell you where you're from, like everything about you. It was nuts, man. It was like they said I'm 1/4 Native American, but Native American could be Mexico, it could be North and South America, it could be anywhere.
A lot of Mexico isn't Mexicans. They're mixed with Native American and Spanish, aren't they?
Yeah. Like I think half of me was Spanish or whatever. Or I mean, like 1/4 of me was I don't know. Anyway, I'm Mexican. Bottom line, that's it.
Yeah.
And some type of Native American. I was on Dances with Wolves. Here we go. Eric is George Lopez's cousin. I know I wasn't an Aztec or in the Yucatan. That was like way south. That's like way south.
Yeah.
I was more northern than that. There you go. All right. Let's see here. I believe 267 Philadelphia.
That Drew?
Maybe. 267. You're live.
Yes, it is.
Philly Drew. What's the word?
What's up, Philly? What's going on, brother?
Nothing much. But, I just have to say this. If I'm Bivol, I go to Eddie Horn and say, this Canelo rematch only happens if, one, I move down to 168 to fire, and two, those butts are on the line because I put something on the line last time. He's got to put something on the line this time around. Like, it's only fair. He won the fight and everything. Should have something in his control. But I really think if that doesn't happen, he walks away and he takes on, honestly, Jaime Mejia, because you heard about those rumors going around that he's going to fight Jaime Mejia next, right?
I heard that, yeah.
Like, I'm thinking the only reason why that fight's being brought up, I think Oscar's starting to get tired of Jaime's management group, like taking down, shutting down fights and everything. I want this fight. He's not making much money off Jaime. So what do? Cash him out, put him up against a good fight with Bivol. The guy that beat Canelo, he loses. Okay,
I made a little bit of money off him losing. He wins, I get a bigger potential fight going on behind me here in the future. But I don't think that fight's going to happen either. If anything, it could be the rematch with Canelo, but other than that, he'd probably be a top 10 light heavyweight because I don't see the undisputed belt happening anytime soon.
Nah.
Like promotional conflicts and everything, that's the reason why that fight's not going to happen. Possibly never going to happen.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's gonna be a tough one.
But to tell you, like, I still think Canelo beats Benavidez. I just, it could be a little bit of a harder fight now for Canelo. But I just think Canelo has what it takes to beat Benavidez. But I don't see that fight happening for at least another year if the Bivol fight happens. But David Benavidez has options. And the thing is, he needs to take the bigger fights now to stay on course for getting that Canelo fight, which is Moel, Charlo, Andre. He's going to have to take on one of these guys. He can't go backwards now from Plant. He has to go forward and face other tough opposition now.
I would agree with that. All right, Drew, we're going to get running. Thank you so much. He's 100% right. He can't go backwards now. There's no way he goes backwards from this.
Yeah, he's got too much momentum.
Fight, he's got to fight like a Charlo. He's got to fight, and he will, because they're all in that same stable. So they'll get Charlo, they'll get all those guys, and he'll be,
he can't kill his momentum. He can't kill his momentum.
He also can't force Canelo to fight him. That's the other thing that people miss. You cannot force Canelo to fight you.
Yeah.
If he's going to fight you, he's going to fight you. If he's not going to fight you, then it is what it is. You go through and you do the best you can with the guys you got in front of you, and no one can take that away. They can always say, hey, I don't think you would have, or I think you would have beat him, or I don't think you would have beat him. But if he doesn't want to fight you, that fight ain't happening. I don't care how much pressure you put on him. He's not going to do it.
And we know he's not going to get stripped. Canelo.
Yeah. And even if he does, who cares? He could care less about those belts, No. So there you go. 419. This is Toledo, Ohio. Title Town, baby. 419. You're live.
What's up, y'all?
What's up? Who am I speaking with?
This is Raphael 32.
Raphael 32.
What's up, brother?
I'm in the chat. Yeah, I'll be in the chat.
All right.
How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Good, man.
My thing is, Canelo, Eddie Reynoso runs all of that. Canelo was at 160. You know what I mean? Didn't move up. Didn't fight everybody at 160. Fought, what's his name? Triple G. Twice, and he was like, hell no, I'm not fighting him a third time. And Reynoso, he looking, he like, damn, I got to go through Andrade, I got to go through Boo Boo. Well, Andrade and Boo Boo are the same person. I meant to say Charlo, and it was another middleweight in there at the time. So he comes up and fights a broken down Kovalev. Okay, and now this is what I have to say. If you notice, Canelo always has problems with fighters who are taller than him and with reach. Bivol, help me out. Plant, Kovalev, that's three, right?
Yeah.
Who was the guy from England? The guy who won that tournament or whatever? What was his name? It just
Caleb Smith. Yeah.
Caleb Smith. I thought was going to walk right. I thought it's going to be very competitive, but again, Caleb Smith, a lot taller, bigger reach, and nothing. It's just, I think it depends.
Right. What I'm talking about, though, guys that have some type of skill, because really with Kovalev and Plant, you could say those were lucky punches. And Kovalev, he wasn't the crusher no more. You know what I mean? He was broken from the Yardy fight. But the point is, the fight that needs to happen, everybody knows that needs to happen, is Plant versus, no, not Plant, but Benavidez versus Canelo. I'm not paying to see him,
John Ryder.
Bivol come down and wait, and that's not well. John Ryder is already happening. I'm talking about after John Ryder.
Yeah.
Bivol, if he fights Bivol, it's going to be at 175 because his camp has already said the fans aren't going to like that. So Reynoso is controlling everything. He knows what his fighter can and cannot do, and I'm looking at it. This is a perfect world for me. Oh boy, Canelo fights Benavidez after Ryder. Then after that, you know what I mean? Maybe I don't. And really, with Morrell, I would like to see Morrell fight Plant because Morrell only had 8 fights.
It's a good fight.
He's not ready for a David. Flat out. I don't even think he's ready for Plant. You know what I mean? But he's a decorated amateur. Okay, and let those guys, Beterbiev and Bivol, figure it out at 175, and then David goes up there and beats one of them, or either one of those guys. To me, if David faces him, because he's coming up, is a 50-50 fight.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Good take.
All right, Raphael, we're going to get
add on to that.
What's that?
All right. Thank you, man.
All right, thank you. Hey, Raphael's from Titletown, baby. And every time Raphael calls in, because he's from Titletown, you know what happens. They go to the front of the line. That's the way I treat my people. I am the king of Titletown, and this is how I treat my peeps. You know what I mean? That's how we do. That's right, Beeb. Titletown, son.
That's right. Gotcha, man.
That's how we're living now. All right. Good deal. All right, let's talk about the wait a second, what we got here. Jesse Quezada. Callum, Rocky, Kovalev, Jacobs, Plant, BJS, Bivol, all 6 foot plus, bigger than Canelo. Come on, we're not going to read that last part, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We can't
I thought he brought up.
Callers, man.
Yeah, you can't do that. I thought he did a good job. No, I thought he had some valid points, but like we talked about, we talked about Callum Smith was another one that he had no problems with. I don't know that Billy Joe Saunders was that much bigger. If he says he was, but
5'11".
Yeah, but he had trouble. He had trouble with Plant. He had trouble with
it's guys who can use it's guys who can use their height and reach effectively. Like for whatever reason, Smith was having a hard time getting his jab off. He looked like he was a little bit out of sorts, but give Canelo credit. It was a good win. I'll take that away from him.
All right, I didn't know Hamed was on the line here. Hey, let me put Hamed on. He's calling from overseas, man. Let's put him on.
You gotta let him in.
Yeah, Hamed, you're live.
How's it going?
Good. What's up?
What's up, brother?
I was just gonna say, I do think at this stage of Canelo's career, I'm not sure he would want to fight. What's his name, Benavidez, because that's a tough, nice whip for 36 minutes. And a lot of people make out about Benavidez's footwork, and I get that, but Canelo is not exactly the guy with the fastest feet, and he's also a guy who has stamina problems. So I'm not sure if he beats Benavidez. I don't think he's a slight favorite, but like Beeb said, he knows how to use his size. And to me, Callum Smith seemed like the guy when he fought Canelo was just big for nothing because he wasn't using his size. So I think that's a really tough fight. I'm not sure it's going to happen next or it'll even happen. But what does Benavidez do if he can't get that fight? Because I'm just looking at his options. I think Morello Andrade is probably his best choice. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, he's not going to get the Canelo fight next. He's not going to get it. He's not going to get it this year. So if I were Benavidez, I would continue to call out Canelo, but then keep fighting because you're not going to get that fight. But at least you're trying to make that fight. And it does look after a while that Canelo is going to be. You're going to hear people say, "Hey, why is he ducking this guy? He wants to fight you."
Yeah, there's going to be some pressure eventually for Canelo to fight him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he should stay at super middleweight. So people are saying jump up to like heavyweight. Like I'm not sure at the moment. Like if the Canelo PD is still there, then just keep pursuing that fight. Because if Canelo does move up to like heavyweight, I don't know, and he fights Bivol, I don't know what Benavidez does because Beterbiev is going to fight against Callum Smith. So I think he should stay at super middleweight. Maybe target guys like Charlo and Andrade. I don't know about Charlo though. He has not fought. I just realized since the Montiel fight. That's like almost 2 years ago, and I doubt they'll put him in straight with Benavidez. I just can't see that fight happening. I think Andrade would be a good option, but it's a really interesting fight. I would rather see Bivol and Batubia fight than Canelo and Benavidez fight, because I think that fight could do 1 million pay-per-view buys. I'm not sure what you guys think, but I think if promoted well.
I think so, yeah, because there's two Mexican guys. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a huge fight. You know what fight I would like to see? I would like to see Benavidez fight Bivol. I think he matches up better with Bivol than Canelo does. I think it's a better style matchup as far as fighting goes. And I give him a chance. I give him definitely, he's a live dog in that fight as well.
I think Benavidez would have a bad chance against Batavia, because I think the footwork could be a problem. And we see how easily Bivol beat Zerdo. I know Benavidez is a different kettle of fish, but I do think the footwork could be a problem in that fight. That's where I think you could start talking about the footwork. But if he was to fight Batavia down the line, I do think Benavidez would have a chance, because he is a big puncher. I know he didn't get the KO, but I personally think Kenny Bayless kind of ruined that fight.
Kenny Bayless made a side bet.
Yeah, it was a bad showing by Kenny Bayless. Not his best night, that's for sure.
Kenny Bayless made a side bet, man. That's why what happened.
Again, I have no idea why he was in that fight anyway. I have no idea. Last time I saw him, I can't even remember why he was in that fight in the main event right there. No clue. No clue.
Payoff. It was a payoff.
He was in the Valdez-Stevenson fight. He was really bad in the Valdez-Stevenson fight. But before I go, who do you think did a better job against Caleb Plant, Canelo or Benavidez? Before the stoppage, I thought Benavidez did a better job, though. I thought against Canelo, Caleb Plant had more success until he got clipped, and then he was
Canelo got the better. Canelo got the better outcome. I thought Benavidez dominated more of the fight.
Same thing though. Like after 8 rounds, I had both fights. After 8 rounds, I had a draw, and then gave Canelo the next 2 rounds or the next 3 rounds with a knockout. And the same thing with Benavidez. I gave him the last 4 rounds, but after 8 rounds, I had them both a draw. So it's kind of a wash.
What rounds did you give? Did you give Plant any rounds after round 5, or did you give him like any rounds?
I gave him 7. I believe I gave him the 7th or 8th round. I gave him one of those.
Yeah,
and then I had it like tie. I had it a draw after 8 rounds, but 9, 10, 11, and 12 we gave it Benavidez, and on my other card 9, 10, and subsequently 11. Others obviously went to Canelo.
Yeah, I guess my card was different than yours in the Canelo fight, because I gave Plant 5 rounds in the Canelo fight, and I actually gave Plant round 7, 8, 9 in that fight. 2 judges gave him 8 and 9. 3 judges gave him round 9. So all 3 judges gave Benavidez rounds 6 through 12. So they had him railing off 7 rounds in a row. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's going to be subjective. But if you would have looked statistically and you look at the scorecards, I guess you can say maybe Benavidez won more rounds than Canelo did. But once again, it's going to come down to the ending. I mean, the knockout is going to be more significant in a lot of people's minds than the decision. But again, I look at the circumstances of this fight, and this fight should have been stopped. So, but it is what it is. The result is what the result is.
There you go.
But I was more impressed with Benavidez than I was with Canelo, because Benavidez I thought did some spectacular things in there. Canelo I thought was going to blow out Plant, and he didn't blow him out. So it is what it is.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Hamed, we're going to get running here. Thank you so much for the call, and thank you. Overseas, man. He's over in England, right? I believe he's over in England.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Nando Yamas, thank you so much. He said, Mr. Legacy fights only Bivol. Still hasn't scheduled a fight. Sitting on that second Canelo payday like mother hen. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I wouldn't be too anxious to fight after that big payday.
Yeah. Go on vacation.
I mean,
I'd go on vacation.
I'd be on a long vacation. All right, before we go back to the phones, let's go ahead and finish out the rest of this, man. Let's see here. Joey Spencer versus Jesus Ramos. 2 unbeaten fighters here. Ramos comes out on top with the 7th round TKO over Joey Spencer. Joey Spencer was a guy, Beeb, that they were really hyping. Him and Vito Melnecki. They were pushing those guys to the moon. And when I saw him fight last night, what they put him against Ramos, it was like they were feeding him to the wolves. It's almost like Berlanga with Top Rank. Like Top Rank knew what they had way before you know what I mean? Before we did. Like they knew right away. Once they put him in there and he started going rounds, he's not the guy. So they let him go. You know what I mean? They let him go. That's what happened. And I believe that's what they're going to do with Joey Spencer as well. I mean, they fed him to the wolves. There's no way he should have been in there against this guy. None. Of a complete mismatch.
Yeah, Ramos looked huge. He was just overpowering Spencer, smothering him.
And Joey Spencer's a young guy. You know, that was not good, man. Not good at all.
That was crazy.
Chris Colbert versus Jose Valenzuela. Chris Colbert wins a unanimous decision over Valenzuela, 95-94 on all three cards. Truth be told, I came in around the fourth round, didn't rewind it. I came in when I was watching the ball games, and sure enough, man, I thought that Colbert lost that fight. But again, I came in at round 4. But just, my uneducated eyes, that's what I saw. So
yeah, I was hard pressed to give Colbert more than 4 rounds in that fight, and then you throw the knockdown in there as well.
Yeah,
I couldn't see a path to victory for Colbert.
No,
I couldn't. But
no, I couldn't either.
I don't know.
Yeah. There you go. On ESPN, Jose Ramirez versus Richard Comey. Ramirez wins by KO in the 11th round over Comey. Beeb, we kind of thought this was the way it was going to go. Anything?
This was, Comey just hasn't shown to be as dangerous at 140 than he was at 135. He's starting to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And that right hand isn't the same right hand at 140 that it was at 135. And I think, he's starting to have some miles. And I think that his durability is starting to go down as a result of having that so many miles on the odometer.
Absolutely.
And I hate to say this, but I hope he doesn't turn into a trial horse at 140, because that looks like the route we're going down, to be perfectly honest with you. But I got to give Ramirez credit. Like he was aggressive. He smothered him, didn't give him space to get that right hand off, and he was ripping the body. He was placing his shots well, throwing a lot of variety, and he got him out of there. It's got him out of there. Great performance.
Dana Jones, thank you so much. We appreciate it. He says we're going to get David Benavidez versus David Morrell next.
I agree.
Maybe. I think that's probably and why not? Why not? And what does he just keep defending this interim belt until he gets a shot at? You know what I'm saying? Now the belts are all tied up.
Yeah. Like I said, man.
And in what planet is John Ryder the mandatory here?
You got to call up the WBA and ask that.
Right.
We're going to pick and choose, obviously, which mandatories that we fight, just like we did at 160 and just like we did at 154. So, I mean, this is same story. Same story, man.
And you said class. This was on Pro Box TV. Lawrence Okoli versus David Light. Okoli wins by unanimous decision, 116-112, 119-108, and 117-110.
Very unimpressive, sloppy performance from Lawrence Okoli. Really wide with the right hand. Doesn't show any willingness to fight at all on the inside. Just kind of grabs and flounders and flops around when the guy comes close to him.
Yeah.
And his punches were just very wide. He was missing a lot. He was kind of winging that right hand, and he was missing that punch as well. He reminds me of, I don't know if you remember this guy, Henry Akinwande.
I remember Henry Akinwande. Yeah.
Remember how he always used to like jab and hold, like he had that same style. Him, Akinwande, Johnny Ruiz, that jab and grab.
Oh my God, it was
jab and grab.
Painful watching that guy fight.
The jab and grab type style. Okoli just seems to throw that right hand very sloppily. He can't throw it straight. It's more along the lines of an arm punch. It just looks very. It's a very bizarre type way he throws that right hand, and there's not a lot of versatility to Okoli's game. I would actually favor Badu Jack in a unification fight over Okoli. I think he's more well-rounded. He's a very good inside fighter as well. I think Okoli has no inside game whatsoever.
Wow.
Zero.
I didn't see the need to trample over him like that, but whatever.
I apologize ahead of time, but
Yeah, well, I mean,
I had to put it out there.
You
I had to
know,
put it out there. No
what is this?
disrespect.
Somebody look good on Sanisa Estrada look good on ESPN. Was there a chick fight this weekend, Beeb? I didn't see that. Did you catch that?
I did actually. It was
Did
kind
you?
of it was
Did
kind
you
of
watch
one.
it?
It's kind of
Yeah?
one side.
Are you sure you watched it?
I did.
Yeah. I'm getting that vibe that you didn't watch it. Why do you think that is, Beeb? Why do you think that I'm getting the vibe that you didn't watch it? Why do you think that is?
Because you didn't watch it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of projection going on.
I didn't watch it. Well, of course I didn't watch it. Of course I'm projecting.
A lot of projection going on here. I don't like it.
I'm assuming Estrada won. I'm assuming Sanisa, or
she
whatever her
won.
name is.
Yeah,
That's great.
won.
When is she going to be on OnlyFans? And you can call me.
Whoa! You know what? She actually is on OnlyFans.
Shocking. Well, let me tell you what. I, for one, am shocked.
No sexual stuff, though. No sexual stuff.
Not like that. Nah, nothing like that. No, just I'm sure it's all tastefully done. All right, April 1st. What is that? Friday? Is that going to be Friday, Beeb?
That's a Saturday. No, that's a Saturday, isn't it?
All right.
Let me see.
April 1st, Tulsa, Oklahoma on ESPN Plus. Robesy Ramirez versus Isaac Dogbay, 12 rounds for the WBO vacant featherweight title. Joet Gonzalez versus Jose Enrique Vivas, 10 rounds featherweights. And that's about it. What's they got? I thought I saw my guy on here. He's on there later. Yeah, he's on the Stevenson undercard. Or he's actually the headline for that. Okay, April 1st on DAZN. Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin, 12 rounds heavyweights. The co-main is Felix Cash versus Matteo Sinani, or I don't know. Fabio Wardley on the card. Michael Coffey, 10 rounds heavyweights.
Very weak card.
This might be one of the weakest cards I've seen. This is on DAZN, guys. This is what we're paying for.
Yeah, it's not good.
Come on, man.
But I'm curious to see how Joshua looks in this comeback fight. We'll see.
You will see. We'll see. Clearly he's set up to win this fight. I don't think there's any, you know what I'm saying? He's set up to win this fight, no question.
Yeah.
But does this really tell us? This is a get back fight, right? That's all it is.
Yeah, this is a get back fight. This is a confidence boost. This is a put me back together type fight.
And he's got his trainer is the guy who does
Derek James. Derek James
is his trainer. Yeah, man, this could be. I'm anxious to see how he does here. I'm anxious to see how he looks. Does he learn anything? I think he's too old to learn anything. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to be able to teach him much. You know how long it takes to get confident with something and then use it in a real situation. You know how long that takes?
Yeah. I'm curious to see if this fight actually goes the distance or he gets him out of there, like everyone's saying. I'm just wondering that. I got a feeling that Franklin may be able to hang around to the end. I just got an inkling.
Nah, he's getting sparked.
You think he's getting sparked?
He's getting sparked.
All right.
Yeah, he's done.
Okay.
April 8th, the week of April 8th, that's Shakur Stevenson. He's fighting. Let's see what else we got there. Jesse Bam Rodriguez fighting on the 8th. Sebastian Fundora, Brian Mendoza on the 8th is huge, man. They got like 4 or 5 fights going on. Big ones too. So we'll look forward to that. There you go. Man, that Texas-Miami game is close, baby. 68-72 Texas.
Really?
It's going down to the wire, baby.
That's a good pick.
It's a good game,
That's
man.
a good pick, right?
All right, news and rumors. Naoya Inoue has been injured. The fight with Stephen Fulton and Naoya Inoue has been postponed after Inoue suffered an injury in camp. Did anybody hear what this injury was? It wasn't disclosed at the time, and no one has said anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know the details of it, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't know, what was going on, but whatever. I mean, the fight's postponed. It's not canceled. They will fight. So, Fury and Usyk apparently fell apart this week. According to Fury and Usyk's people, the fight is now out of negotiations, and the parties are pursuing other fights. That's great. To me, man, this is 100% Fury's fault. 100%. 100% ducked Usyk. I don't think there's any question about it. Usyk and his people gave in to every demand. The 70-30, which was completely ridiculous, by the way, and even more of his insane demands, the bottom line is that Fury does not want to fight him. That's the bottom line. He gave him everything. They did everything possible. And then Fury comes out and blames Usyk. Like, dude, come on. I mean, it was pretty obvious that
it's hard to defend Fury here, but like I said to you earlier, I think they're stalling the fight because they want to put it in Saudi. I think they didn't do it in Saudi in April because it was too close to Ramadan, and I just think they're looking for the most money they can get. But it's still frustrating.
I mean, like, how much money was he going to get for this?
Yeah,
70%. I mean, come on.
Again, I'm not defending it. I'm just like trying to like get in the head of these guys, man. And it's a tough task to kind of see what these guys are, what their motives are. But I just suspect that it's always about the money. That's what it always comes down to me. And I just think that they always wanted this fight in Saudi. I think they wanted to maximize the most amount of earnings that they could get out of this fight. And I think that's why he was down there, in Saudi he's kind of like arm in arm, really yucking it up with Prince Khalid for his brother's fight. So I think they're working on something. And I do think this fight may happen in the summertime. Could happen in June, in my opinion. I don't think this fight is dead. I think it's still on the table, but once again, I understand everyone's disappointment with Fury kind of leading people on.
Who's Fury going to fight next? What does he want? Another Wilder fight? I mean, let's see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
beat him 3 times. Let's do it 4.
I don't think that Usyk wants to fight that mandatory. The cutoff for the decision is April 1st. So they have roughly a week to make a decision if they're going to schedule this fight or not. And I like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they hammer out a deal.
I mean, yeah, they can just push it back. I mean, I don't know. It's just like with him at the helm, with Tyson Fury.
Yeah, it's unpredictable.
He so much up. He screws so much up, man.
Yeah,
D-Style, thank you so much. He said Jesus Ramos win via KO over Spencer was easy money. Spencer was never that guy. Well, that's what it's looking like. That's a good point because that's what it's looking like. I tell you that.
That's what it's looking like.
Yeah, right. Let's see here. Tank Davis. Did you hear about this? Tank Davis was kicked out of Floyd's gym. He was banned, actually. It was said by Tank Davis earlier in the week that Floyd banned him from training at his gym. He took to social media and tweeted something out and then deleted the tweet. He says, "What? ? That's Floyd's petty ass." He said, "I couldn't use his gym anymore. I don't give an F." He put this in a tweet. Floyd Mayweather is really a trash human being. I mean, he just is. I mean, this is one situation out of like thousands that we can point the finger at and say, yes, he is a trash human being.
It's corny.
It's the guy didn't sign with him. The guy says, okay, come out and fight. You can use the Mayweather gym. And then he bars him from the gym. Just petty nonsense that like is going to screw with your fighter. Like why? And it's not even his fighter anymore. But I mean, like what? You couldn't, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't sign with you. So now, and they want to sign.
And then you like, he lets Ellerby like come to the press conference, Javante, and he kind of shows him a little bit of respect and lets him speak at the podium, even when he's not even involved in the fight. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, he's completely ridiculous. He is completely ridiculous. That game is tied, baby. All right, real quick. Yep, real quick. We're gonna go to 760. Real quick, 760. You're live.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Brian?
What's up, Brian? How you living, man? How you living?
Oh, I'm doing straight, man. I'm good, man. Hey, what you guys think about the fight yesterday? I just now caught everything on the show, so
thought Benavidez looked good.
What you guys think about the fight?
Thought he looked good.
Benavidez looked good, man.
He did. What you think Canelo gonna say about him?
Canelo's not gonna say a word about him. Canelo's going to go on and get paid against John Ryder. He ain't going to say anything about Benavidez. Why would he?
You don't think they're going to make that fight, huh?
Nope.
They ain't making that fight, man.
They ain't making that fight.
That would be, man, that would be a really, really good fight, man. That would be a good fight. But that was a good fight last night. I mean, how did you guys feel about it? Shit, in the beginning rounds, you thought Caleb Plant was winning and surprising you with some boxing or what?
I had the fight even after 6. I had it 3 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people I know had it like 4-2, right?
4-2. Yeah, I had it 4-2.
Yeah. I had Benavidez winning this fight 9 rounds to 3. Eric had it 8 rounds to 4.
Mm-hmm.
I thought from round 6 through 12, I think Benavidez just shut Plant down, and I think because
he
of
went
Bayless,
on a run,
I think because of Bayless constantly warning Benavidez every time he like breathed on Plant when he tried to fight out of clinches and stuff, and he tried to work on the inside, he kept getting reprimanded, warned, and admonished. I think that had a big effect on how the fight played out. If he let Benavidez work on the inside, I think he could have stopped him. And I'm still surprised Breadman didn't pull Plant out. Like I said, in either round 10 or 11th, I thought he should have pulled him out. But
sure.
I thought Benavidez did some great work. And I already railed off the punch stat numbers. I mean, he landed like 38% of his punches, 43% of his power punches, and Plant only landed 15% of his shots. So Benavidez did some good work all around here, in terms of his boxing ability. So I just think Benavidez
started getting busy towards the later half of the fight. Really, that's when Benavidez really got busy.
Yeah, he most certainly did.
But,
so I was impressed.
Shocked me. Caleb Plant was surprising me in the beginning with his boxing ability. I mean,
I had it even after 8 rounds.
Caleb
I knew that was the way it was going to go.
That bad.
I said it was going to be even after 6 rounds.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if it was even after 6 rounds.
I really didn't. I thought Benavidez was going to come out and just start going to work on him and, put that pressure on him. It was just going to be overwhelming to him. But, I mean, it was hard to find Caleb Plant in the beginning. I think that's what it was. But I didn't like that. Beeb, I know you a big fan of grab and hold shit. I know that's your thing, but me, I'm not a fan of that shit, man. I don't like that shit like that.
Brian,
you like that shit?
Brian,
it went straight to wrestling, homie.
Yeah,
MMA,
Brian,
man-on-man action.
Brian, here's my problem with what happened last night. I accept holding as part of the sport, but here's what I did not accept. The fact that Benavidez was not allowed to work his way and fight out of those clinches. Every time Plant grabbed him and Benavidez won. Every time Plant grabbed him and Benavidez wanted to kind of give him that little nudge with the shoulder and create some space, he was being yelled at. He was being like threatened that points were going to be taken away. Like he was roughhousing or whatever. But this same referee, Kenny Bayless, had no problem with used to have no problem with Mayweather sticking his forearm in people's throats. He never yelled at Mayweather for doing that stuff. So yeah, I was just like I said, I accept holding as part of the sport, and I know that fighters have to work their way around the holding and work their way through it. But let them fight out of clinches. Don't handcuff them on the inside.
There you go. All right, Brian, we're going to get running, man. Thanks for the call. All right.
Damn, that's cold.
I mean, Brian hasn't called in for a while, and you're going to cut him off like that?
I didn't know. I'm just saying, man. We talked about it. 214, quickly, 214. I believe this is Dallas. Dallas. You were not watching the game, man. The Miami game's on. Texas is in it, baby, and you're calling us. I love it.
What's up, guys? You know who this is? It's inevitable. D-Block, D-Town, D-City, D-Ville, Baltimore, stand up.
All right, so what's up, man? I can hear you, man. You coming through loud and clear, bro.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Loud and clear.
All right, good. All right. Let me just say this, because I saw the fight last night, and I'm going to be honest with you, no bias, no nothing, keeping it real. The way I saw Benavidez just reach out there in those first rounds, even fifth, sixth, sloppy footwork. He's just one-directional type of fighter. Yes, he's a pressure fighter. He's not a knockout artist. Be honest with that. He just comes at you like, like they're putting some men on you. It's coming. They're putting some men right on your chest. I understand that. Caleb Plant, to the beginning, let's say 6 rounds, 7 rounds, it was a good fight. You could have said it could have been like not close because you can't compare Pernell Whitaker versus Calvin, right? To a certain point. I also saw where Andre Ward taught him a couple of techniques in there, how to fight him the same way Andre Ward fought Kovalev, right? Totally different type of fighters, of course. But I could see some of that he used, seeing that fight, just seeing the way the tactics were, holding and just, putting his hand out there like Andre Ward, using technique. But David Benavidez, he was sloppy, man. I mean, the way he leaves himself open, and you imagine what Canelo's going to do to him, which is, I think a caller way back said Canelo's slow. He gets tired at the end. Canelo is he's a premier. It's levels to this game, as we know. Just like with Floyd Mayweather, there are levels to this game. Bivol, 175, beat Canelo. That was his height. I mean, that was his reach with Canelo, right? So he needs to stay at 168. And let me ask you something. The way that sloppiness that he showed last night compared to Canelo to go up to 175 and fight Bivol, do you think Benavidez has a chance? And I really do give a chance that Canelo will stop David Benavidez. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I tell you what, I don't think, and I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to go ahead and put you on hold and answer your questions. I tell you what, I do like Benavidez going up to fight Bivol. I think Benavidez has a better style to deal with Bivol than Canelo does. Can Canelo knock out Benavidez? Sure, absolutely. But I don't see him stopping Canelo, put it that way. I think Canelo can put him away. I'm not 100% sure he can stop Canelo, but I don't know. B, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Canelo would go the distance, but I could see, like I said, Benavidez outworking Canelo and scoring a decision victory. I could see that.
There you go. All right. Let's see what else we got here. That's it, guys. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. You can find me on Twitter at ringside73. And guys, we will catch you next week.